If it doesn't serve you, leave the table. This is true when it comes to friendships, relationships. My parents used to always tell me, you're a product of the people that you hang around, whether that's a friend, whether that's a friend group, whether that's a significant other. If this person or these people aren't helping you to reach your goals, they're not motivating you, they're not doing anything that is uplifting you, then you really have to have a sit down with yourself and figure out, okay, if I want to get here and I have people in my life holding me back, I'm going to have to make some tough decisions, whether that means limiting how often you talk to these people, whether that means cutting them off. You have to do what you have to do ultimately, because you have to be selfish to reach your goals. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, this friend group, every time I hang out with them, they're super toxic. All they do is gossip about people. None of those guys are driven. It seems like they're also just very discouraging when it comes to me pursuing my goals and all of those things. That's one of those things where sometimes you get addition by subtraction. By cutting people like that out, you find out that you're even more motivated to get back to what you were doing and to truly just put yourself in the best position to accomplish your goals. And this is also true when it comes to your mindset, because oftentimes we have these negative, these self-sabotaging thoughts that truly aren't doing anything for us. All they're doing is they're making us feel more insecure, they're making us feel guilty, they're making us feel these emotions that really won't benefit us moving forward. And that was something I really had to learn, was I had to distinguish between, okay, well, this feeling that I'm having or these thoughts that I'm having based on this thing that happened in the past, is it beneficial or is it not? And if it's not beneficial, how can I turn it or how can I twist it in a way that will make it beneficial? For example, if you failed an exam and you're sitting here thinking about, I failed that exam, I'm such an idiot, I can't do it, I'm disorganized, I have terrible time management. Having these kinds of thoughts aren't helping you. Just beating yourself up for being disorganized and not having time management and just being, incapable of getting good grades or whatever the case may be, those thoughts aren't helping you. Whereas if you fail an exam and you're like, I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes and get organized. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to take an hour, I'm going to organize my binder, I'm going to organize my iPad notes, whatever the case may be, whatever you need to do. But going from, I'm so disorganized, this is why I failed, and beating yourself up about it, you're acknowledging that, yes, I am disorganized, but this is what I can do to actually fix the situation. And then you go from being in a situation where now you're at a table where it's actually serving you. Now it's, you're actually serving yourself in a beneficial way and in a constructive way. And for example, if you're saying, I'm an idiot, maybe that's not the case. It's maybe you didn't study enough. And so instead of just telling yourself you're an idiot, it's like, okay, well, I studied for this exam for about a week in advance, and I did get behind on the coursework. So the next time I'm going to do my best to stay up, to keep up with the coursework. And then maybe that same week is going to be a lot more productive. Or if that's not the case, maybe you really just take a look at it and you go, okay, the way that I studied for this exam probably wasn't the most beneficial way for studying for me. Even if my friends study like that, or this works for him or her, it doesn't work for me. And so maybe it's a matter of tweaking that and just experimenting with it. Because ultimately life is just a big game of experiments. You figure out what works for you. You try this, I think that worked, but this might be a little bit better, and boom. And then you try that and then you kind of run with it. It's the same thing with being in dental school. you learn that, oh, this faculty likes to do fillings like this, but this faculty likes to use this to do fillings. And so you kind of try each one and you're like, hold on, I kind of like this one a little bit more. Or sometimes you take bits and pieces from each faculty. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that you're just constantly learning about what other faculty, what other people are doing. And of course, just trying to find what works best for you ultimately. And the moment that you find what works best for you, you just run with it and you just stick to it. And so that's how having that positive mindset, or not necessarily, that positive mindset can help you. Because at the same time, I do believe that toxic positivity is a thing. Of course, if you fail an exam, it's not a matter of being like, oh, well, that's okay. Like, there's always the next one. Sometimes it's okay to give yourself that space to be upset and to kind of be down about it. But it just becomes a problem when you're upset or you're down for a week or 3-4 days. Because one thing I learned in dental school is you don't have time to just be upset with yourself for a week and not do any schoolwork. Because that's what I would do in college, is if I had an exam that didn't go the way I wanted, I would be upset for like a week. And I'd be like, oh, F that class, I'm just not gonna study, I'm not gonna, do that for a week. But in dental school, you can't afford that. So maybe it is one of those things where in dental school, you take 30 minutes maybe, and you're like, this sucks, why? But then after that 30 minutes, to really just let off that steam, you sit down with yourself and you go, okay, that didn't go the way I wanted it to, but this is what I can do to improve next time. I can do this, this, and this to make sure that that same thing doesn't happen. And so once you make those changes, it really just switches it so that every single thought that you're having is beneficial to you and what you want to do. And so, you guys, to wrap up, I pretty much talked about how it's super important to leave a table where a meal isn't serving you. And whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a friendship, or whether that's school, I feel like it's very important to have thoughts and to put yourself in position where the thoughts that you're having are self-serving thoughts that are going to help you improve. And so I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.